So in this video I want to look at how bookkeeping and accountancy is going to be changed by AI over the next few years. And it's an existential question for my professional career, because I need to know whether I'm effectively going to be the receptionist and tea boy that preps clients before they go before the great AI computer that tells them how they should run their affairs, or whether actually I'll still be able to give some advice and some help that the computer is unable to do. And of course within that, it's very difficult for me to understand because I'm just a human, and humans are really bad at understanding exponential. And of course the march of technology is an exponential improvement, and it's just difficult for us to imagine that. So I'm going to do my best to imagine it. So before we look at AI, let's first look at how things have changed in my professional career. So when I arrived in the office as an office junior, there were two things on people's desks. There was an ashtray and there was a telephone. That was all. And the smoke came down to here. We occasionally were allowed a computer and we could lug it. It wasn't really portable, it was luggable. And they were very rarely used. And there are whole swathes of jobs that have gone. Accounts typing, that used to type out accounts rather than just feed the information into a computer. There was contometer operators that used to add up schedules. And even as an audit clerk, I would be adding up computer printouts. Like my calculator was more accurate than a computer. And technology has moved on hugely. So what do we do now and how do we use AI? I think we use technology well in my practice because we get documents, we get them read into the system using text, and then that information is posted very often into Xero, but there's a little bit of work done on the interface between the two because it doesn't quite work smoothly, although it works pretty well. And then within Xero, the Xero checks things and it sort of does a reconciliation of the bank account, but another little bit of work to make sure it all reconciles and it all works nicely. And then we have to take that information and post it into accounts production where the accounts are produced. And it doesn't take a genius to work out that that's good. So we're using the AI to read the documents and to do a bit of processing. That is the use of AI, but it's a little bit lumpy because in the example I gave there, we're using 3 different technologies. We're using text, we're using Xero, and then we're using accounts production. And it's not a seamless end-to-end. I think that seamless end-to-end, I've been thinking will be coming, I don't know, for the last 5 years. I thought somebody must be able to do it. It must be harder than I imagine because it's been quite slow to come, but slowly all of those interchanges and interfaces are improving, and our work in getting everything to agree therefore is becoming less over time. And that is an appropriate use of technology. And within that there is an amount of artificial intelligence to make all of that work. And of course that benefits, and it continues to benefit my clients and my practice. It makes the whole thing cheaper, it makes the process more accurate, it's more visible to people, and there's just less inputting. And in terms of my practice, it even benefits it that people used to have bookkeepers, and now we can do the bookkeeping job in-house by using the internet. We can do it remotely, and also we can do it very efficiently by using the technology. So looking to the future, without looking too exponentially, it is fairly clear to say ability to do bookkeeping, which is like it's a real hard work of accountancy and the sort of drudgery of getting information into the computer. I think a lot of that workload is going to reduce over time, if it's not going to disappear altogether. But that will mean that we produce accounts, and those accounts, to some extent, they will be able to be produced by the technology. So again, that's even getting some of the higher level skills. But then there's something that we do where we look at all the different taxes and how they interplay together. And I guess in theory, a computer could do that. But could it also look at how we could slightly change our business to change the way that the taxes interplay and maybe reduce our tax bill? Could it look at the family sort of financial planning aspects of it and how you want to give responsibility to different members of the family and how you want to give funds to different members of the family and how and when you want to avoid and mitigate inheritance tax and that whole bundle of slightly more complicated issues? Well, it may indeed be able to cover that, but do you know what? I think those higher level skills, there will still be a need within accountancy for those higher level skills that would actually displace me. Perhaps I've got an interest in believing that, particularly within my working lifetime. Maybe the generation beyond me has more of a problem with it. There we go. We'll see. So in terms of accounting and bookkeeping, I see bookkeeping very much being transformed. There's going to be much less bookkeeping done by people, and the cost within companies, so the companies will be able to very much streamline their bookkeeping as they can already. The accounting and the analysis side, some of it can be done by computers because it can do some, it can tell you some of the trends about what's going on in your business, but then bringing it all together, they're high level skills, and if they do indeed get to be done by computers, then I do become a T-boy. But I think looking into the long-term future is sort of not very helpful, because really we can only see into the next few years, the next 5 years maybe, and if we can focus on the next 10 years, then we confuse ourselves with overthinking it. Over the next 1 or 2 years, I think the way that AI is going to transform our businesses is, yes, transforming that bookkeeping, transforming the interfaces between all the different technologies, and making our life a lot easier and better, and benefiting, quite frankly, all of us. So there we are, that's my view on AI and the march of technology through accounting and bookkeeping. If you'd like to be kept up to date on tax and accounting issues, then please subscribe to the channel, and if you press the like button, it just helps me in the channel, so thank you for that.